medical director of the Effiang Nkwanta Regional Hospital, Joseph Kojo Tambale, says the hospital has lodged a formal complaint at the Takoradi District Police Station over allegations of a missing or stolen baby leveled against staff of the hospital. The family of the 14-year-old JHS student who allegedly delivered prematurely at the facility say the hospital has failed to give them access to the body of the baby who was declared dead barely 24 hours after delivery. The incident happened in March, but the regional hospital has denied the allegations. Here's an interview with the medical director of the Effiang Nkwanta Regional Hospital, Joseph Kojo Tambale.
Yes, indeed, something of that sort was brought to my attention, okay, from a radio program on Connect FM, somewhere around the middle of March, okay. We have, as a management, gone ahead to investigate, and our investigations point to a different thing altogether. So, from our records and from interviewing the staff who were involved, there was nothing of that sort. There's no stolen baby or lost baby per our records. Our records show that a girl of 14 years came to hospital to abort. Not an induced abortion, not a criminal abortion.
Okay.
But she came to abort a fetus at 24 to 26 weeks of gestation. And I believe that it is the same fetus that they are claiming may have been lost or stolen. Okay? But I would also want to be very careful going into the details of the case that was reported, because the case is currently before the police.
Well, when you say the case is before the police, are you saying that you made a complaint?
We made a complaint to the police because we heard those allegations, and we want to put the matter to rest once and for all.
Well, the mother of the teenager, who only gave her name as Gifty, has disputed the claims of the hospital. She wants the matter investigated. She also spoke to me.
We went to the sawmill, but upon arrival, we were told she was in labor. And since they didn't have an incubator, we moved to Effiang Nkwanta Hospital, accompanied by a nurse. My 15-year-old pregnant daughter, who had entered her 7th month, gave birth, and the child was put in an incubator. After visiting the baby twice, I left the hospital, only to return the next morning and to be told that the child had died. When I demanded to see the corpse, I was told I had to wait for a morgue assistant who never showed up.
Na wanya 6 months me ya wula 7.
6 months to 7.
Ni ya wula.
Into I don't know okan wo fi ana oye na de and then I drew hospital hono.
Oh school na the madam friend me say. Ani munu ne hu wo school wan di no me mama dan sam. Di me kwa na me ne call ayi so me hono. Ya kwa no me say ya wo. No mo zo mo ni machine ni bi e wo ngubeta ni bi wo ho mo de ni be shindi. Mama me kofa aka baa na yakwa Effiang Nkwanta mama nurse ni ba ko tan yakwa Effiang Nkwanta
But na oba no wedding fian
oh 15
oh 15
acha
oh bema na oba and na
mama me kwaya ne card nyina mbode ba mama me kwaya ne card kura nyina oba
card na mo je o sen
card na me
So that's the mother of the 15-year-old who gave me that interview. We made several attempts to get the police on this issue, but we've not been successful. When we do, we'll bring you details from the police. But the medical director of the Efia Nkwanta Regional Hospital, Joseph Kojo Tembil, joins me via Zoom for more on this issue. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. So in that interview she gave me, she raises a number of issues that we'll need you to clarify. She alleges that it was initially disputed that her daughter had even delivered at the hospital when this matter was brought to your attention. Did that indeed happen?
Oh, where? Who disputed that a girl of that age didn't deliver? Nobody disputed that. You see, I am listening to the interview. I'm wondering what the motive is. You see, if she wanted answers to what happened, I believe that the hospital has some management which she could have contacted. Then the management team is led by me. And if she had contacted us, we would have given her all the answers.
Well, she tells me that they actually have, but we'll come to that because there were other issues she raised with me. Some of the issues which you had told me about in the earlier interview you granted me. Now, Doc, was there a point where you had to intervene in the dispensing of medication to her daughter because it emerged that her records were not in the hospital system? Was there ever a point that happened?
Who intervened?
That you and the other hospital administrators.
Absolutely not. That's absolutely false. You see, let me give you a chronology of events. The teenager in question came to Efia Nkwanta on the 1st. And I have the records here. We ran an electronic system. Okay, I've printed out the electronic records. They are with me here, and anybody can cross-check. We're giving these to the police as well. She came on the 1st to deliver. I only got aware of this issue on the 12th of March at around 10 p.m. when she had gone to a radio station to make damning allegations against staff. And you see, my pain is actually with the radio station that granted her the interview without recourse to anybody from Efia Nkwanta. But we'll leave that one aside. I think that's a different matter. But listening to the woman, it looks like she keeps changing the goalposts. As of now, I don't know what the whole motive for this story is. Because I heard elsewhere that she said people had asked her to pay money, which she didn't have, and they didn't take care of her baby. Later, she comes to say that the baby was taken care of, and she came and she was told the baby had died. Honestly, all these things don't add up.
Okay, Dr. Tembil, because of time, just help us answer these few questions. Did the baby die at the facility?
Absolutely, yes.
Was the baby buried thereafter?
Yes, and you see, when the baby passed, and the baby passed a little over 3 hours after it was expelled, okay? And this was a baby that weighed 0.5 kilograms, and the estimated gestational age was 24 weeks by the specialist pediatrician, okay? So this baby's chance of survival was right at the beginning was less than 50%. Okay. Now this woman leaves the hospital, and for 3 days she wasn't found. She was asked to go and do the records for the baby. Mind you, there were two people here. Her daughter, who is the mother of this fetus we're talking about.
Yeah, the teenager. Yeah.
Yes, and the fetus itself. So she was asked to go and make records for the fetus, which she never did. She never went back to the NICU.
Well, she disputes this. She says that she actually saw the baby being put in an incubator. She went home and came back the next day, only to be told that the baby had died. And upon request, because she wanted to see the body of the baby, she was told she had to pay some money for those in charge of the mortuary to lead her there. Is that indeed the case? Is that what happened?
Like I told you, all these things, like I told you, the story keeps changing. And I'm wondering what the motive is. I'm wondering what she wants. Because when they came to my office, okay, what they were looking for was to sit down and negotiate with hospital. And I was asking them, what are we negotiating about?
When you say they wanted to negotiate, exactly what are you talking about? What were their demands?
But they're asking us to compensate the little girl for the loss of her child.
Well, I put that question to her, and she denied that. But very quickly, Doc, where was the baby buried?
Within the premises of the hospital. And the person who did it is alive and well. And so at any point, if push comes to shove, the body can be exhumed, DNA analysis can be done. You see,
but is it standard practice to go ahead to bury anybody at all without the consent of the family?
Well, that is an issue to be interrogated later.
But you are the professional. I mean, you are superintendent of the hospital. Does it ever happen as part of your operations? Is it standard that at any point in time you have the right to go ahead to bury anybody because of whatever circumstance?
No, we have a standard procedure with regards to adults. I think there's a little bit of a lacuna when it comes to preterm fetuses at that age, because they're so tiny. And it's difficult to keep them in a mock fridge.
But even if the procedure isn't clear with babies, isn't it just courteous? Because it's a human life you're talking about here. That the family is indeed informed, they know where the baby is buried, and then there's a proper closure.
Absolutely, you are absolutely right. And I won't hold brief for any staff who may have breached any standard procedures. I won't do that. But you see, this matter could have been laid to rest right from the beginning.
But I'm interested in knowing who ordered for the baby to be buried. Did the nurses
like I said, the police is handling this matter, and we will get to know who did what. Okay? But suffice it to say that no baby was missing. No baby was lost where the baby is.
Okay.
In that it is.
And just finally, since you reported this to the police, has there been any invitation or interrogation of your staff that you're aware of?
Oh, yes. Yes.
How many?
Well, I can't give those details, but I know the police are in touch with staff. They've gone to the police station several times. So they are on it. To that extent, I can't say, but I can't give details.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Kojo Tambil. That's the medical officer in charge, the medical director in charge of the Efia Nkwanta Regional Hospital. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Mino.